Thank you so much for getting your boy to 100 subs. It means a lot, and for the occasion, I wanted to kind of make more personal type of videos every time we reach some of these sub goals. But enough talking. Let us spread these cheeks wide open and jump into some lore of my life. As I've gotten older, I've realized that more and more problems just begin to arise, and at times it could feel suffocating, like all your problems are just ganging up on you. One of the biggest problems I've always had to deal with is the idea of being cool. What is cool? What is coolness? This is a question my young elementary school nerdy ass self was constantly trying to puzzle together and figure out. Cause you see, growing up, your boy was bullied quite a bit. I know, shocker, right? Right? I got made fun of, I got wet willied, I got curb stomped and spit on a daily basis. Like, you don't know the ethereal, otherworldly, shame-filled pain of sitting next to your crush and then somebody just telling them, hey, you guys would be like so cute together. And her response to that being, ew, him? And this bullying in elementary school would make it so all my dreams consisted of being the coolest possible thing I could think of at that time. That being a muscle-bound, golden-haired messiah monkey man raining terror down on my bullies and holding hands with every girl in my elementary school. But unfortunately, those were just dreams of being cool. In real life, I was still a nerdy little bitch. So realistically, I only had two options. One, change myself to fit in, or, I'll show them. But I'm not that white, so I went with the first option, which put me down this path of changing who I was to fit in and be cool. I felt like I couldn't be myself if I wanted to fit in. But as I grew, my ideas of what cool was completely changed. When back in the day I'd be fully erect to Shadow the Hedgehog with an M16, now, as a grown hairy butthole man, that only gives me half a chub. And this change occurred through learning a lot about life, holding a lot more girls' hands, and watching a shit ton of anime. Which taught me many things. Don't cheat on a girlfriend, or else. The power of friendship is unstoppable. Only horny teenagers can power robots. Never give up. Your best friend is a guy you just met 2 episodes ago. But if there was a single lesson that spoke to me as someone who was trying to be cool and trying to fit in, it was to just be yourself. It's a cliche-ass lesson that is told to you throughout your whole life. Your teacher might tell you. Your dad might tell you. But when you're younger, it's just a phrase. It doesn't really connect with you like that. It wasn't something I would connect with or appreciate until I was older, when I knew who I was and understood the idea of self-worth. And that's when I realized a lot of the anime and manga I consumed had these lessons down perfectly. What I'm talking about are characters that inspire you to be cool by finding yourself and being yourself. Starting with Fooley Cooley. Fooley Cooley, like most Gainax shows, is extremely stylized and over the top, but underneath, there's a lot of deep meaning. On the external, you got an alien girl on a Vespa hitting a kid with a bass guitar to awaken a boner in his forehead that is actually a robot. Anime. But on the internal, it's just about growing up and going through puberty and shit. In the show, the main character Naruto spends a lot of time trying to be his idea of what a cool grown-up is, which to him is this stoic, unfeeling, no emotions, don't give a fuck about anything type of dude. You see this persona he puts on start to crack with his relationship with Mamimi. She only keeps him around because she had a thing for his older brother who moved away, and now she kind of uses him as a surrogate of his older brother. And it's easy for her to imagine that because he's constantly silencing his personality, because he's trying to be this cool grown-up he thinks he's supposed to be. But as soon as his real feelings and emotions and personality start to shine through, she doesn't want any part of it. She doesn't like him for who he is, and as the show goes on, he slowly starts to release all these emotions and feelings he's been hiding away, and slowly he learns to be himself. And by the end of the show, he finds his true power not by being this unfeeling, fake grown-up he thinks he has to be, but by being vulnerable and showing his real emotions and feelings. Ultimately, it's when Naruto finds himself and accepts himself. That is when he becomes cool. Yeah. Or we could look at the show/manga known as Great Teacher Onizuka. Onizuka embodies coolness because he's unapologetically himself. He wants to be a teacher, but nobody wants to give him the job because of his delinquent past. I mean, he was kind of a gang leader. He's flawed and doesn't fit into society's expectations, but this is also what makes him come off very genuine and inspiring. There's this moment where he's telling this lady about how when he was in school, teachers would always label him as a delinquent and call him trash that wasn't gonna amount to shit, to the point where even he starts believing in that label. Then this slimy pervert principal gives him the opportunity to become a teacher, but only if he beats up these hooligans who came into the school because they want to beat up this principal for the same reasons that Onizuka was talking about. He constantly called and continued to call these students delinquents and punks who aren't going anywhere in life. If Onizuka beats them up, he might get the teacher job. But can you guess what he did? He fucking suplexes the dirty ass, pervert ass teacher. And it was this care for the students that eventually got him the teaching job, teaching some of the most notoriously bad students in the school. But Onizuka reaches these students like no one else could by genuinely being himself. He doesn't try to put on a professional teacher facade. No, just being Onizuka with all the flaws that come with that.
Got him.
That's why the students accept him, because he feels like a flawed and relatable friend, not just a teacher who doesn't care about them. That is what allows him to break down these walls that these students put up to hide their feelings. Ultimately, he showed me you don't have to change who you are to make a difference and to live your life. When I first saw this amazing ass opening, I thought Onizuka was cool because of his demeanor and attitude. To be cool like him, I would have to act like him. But no, reading the manga showed me it's just about learning from his way of life. He teaches you to cherish your youth and to live and enjoy your life, and to not let people's labels or expectations of you to define you. Onizuka gave these, much like himself, delinquent kids an outlet to finally be heard, and that was simply by just being himself. To me, GTO is all about a guy you'd least expect to teach you something meaningful. But clearly, he does. I mean, I'm inspired. I'm making a whole video about it.
皆さん、短い間だったけど、いい思い出になりました。これから俺は日本一ビッグでグレートな教師目指して頑張りたいと思います。ありがとう。最高です。最高っすよ、鬼塚先生。
And for our final character, I want to talk about Kamina from Gurren Lagann.
The reputation of Team Gurren echoes far and wide. When they talk about its badass leader, the man of indomitable spirit and masculinity, they're talking about me, the mighty Kamina.
I think anybody who's seen the show has busted a fat nut to Kamina's coolness. He is the embodiment of fucking cool. He is cool incarnate, and he inspires everybody with his awe-inspiring coolness. I don't like the sources. But what really spoke to me was watching Simone realize his coolness. Because, spoiler, Kamina kind of fucking dies. For Simone, this was who he looked up to. Kamina was his bro. He was everything that Simone wanted to be, which made it so he didn't have to find who he was because he could simply live under Kamina's shadow. And without Kamina, he doesn't feel like a person anymore. He goes through this whole phase of being shut away and upset because on top of losing his bro, no Kamina means no Simone. He hadn't yet found his own individuality and self yet. But then Simone finally digs deep within himself and finds somebody who only knows Simone and not through Kamina. That is what eventually leads him to giving this powerful ass speech. He finally admits that Kamina is dead, but he's still a part of him. He's not Kamina, he is himself. Sure, he took the influence of Kamina, but only to find himself and shape his own personality. Simone in this speech finally embodies Kamina's final words of believe in the you who believes in you. It's when Simone screamed at the top of his lungs, "I'm me! Simone the Digger!" that allowed me to finally see Simone in the same awe-inspiring coolness that I always saw Kamina with. You just watched the whole video about a guy basically telling you anime characters are cool. You know, people might say it's weird to learn things from fictional characters or anime in general, but the truth is, these are real, authors and artists behind these works, and they're intentionally putting in these lessons to hopefully teach you something that maybe they possibly went through. These shows and characters helped me realize that all this time that I was trying to fit in to be cool, I never was, because I wasn't being myself. Anime showed me that being cool is really just finding yourself and being yourself to the fullest, even if that means some people won't like you, including your crush. But honestly, you'll be alright. You're gonna appreciate and build bonds with the friends who do stay with you for who you really are and not for who you're pretending to be even more. Although, obviously, if you're like a bad, creepy fucking weirdo, maybe work on that. Yes, you will get influenced and inspired by others, and yes, you might steal the coolest character's personality you like, and yes, you're gonna be lost for a bit, but eventually all those experiences will amalgamate into your unique whole that is your dumbass. But hey, look, I'm just a 23-year-old dumbass talking shit on the internet. Everything I said could be wrong or just some basic shit everybody figures out that I'm just boastfully yelling at a camera about. But it meant a lot to me as someone who's just dealing with growing up. Alive or dead, I'm me. I'm Internet Pitstop. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely enjoy having conversations about this shit, so please drop a comment about characters that inspired you with their coolness. But with all that said, thank you for coming to this little pit stop on the corner. You know, we did reach 100 subs. I think it's time we leave this place. I think it's time. Thank you so much for coming to this new little pit stop on the corner of the internet. Peace.
Listen, stop trying to be somebody else. Don't try to be someone else. Be yourself and know that that's good enough.